Is Trudeau's diplomatic war against India a smokescreen for Chinese interference in Canadian politics? A preliminary report by Canada's Foreign Interference Commission says that China's involvement in the 2019 and 2021 polls was quite acute. Specifically, this poll says that China supported Trudeau's minority Liberal government in 2021. Trudeau was supposed to depose on this matter, and just before that, he upped the ante against India. So was the ruse of foreign interference by India really an attempt to deflect attention against charges of foreign interference in his party and government affairs by the Chinese?
The big question hanging in the air. Why has Justin Trudeau triggered a diplomatic war with India? The Canadian Prime Minister's seasonal anti-India attack is aimed at diverting from his particularly bad domestic worries. Most of all, a report that exposes Chinese interference in Canadian elections in which Trudeau suspiciously won. Leading to a widespread view even in Canada, that effort to blame Indian interference is ironically a smokescreen to hide Chinese interference. The Canadian Prime Minister is slated to appear before the Foreign Interference Commission on October 16. In May 2024, a preliminary report prepared by the Commission named China as the main perpetrator of foreign interference against Canada. According to the report, China relies on the Chinese Communist Party and Chinese government bodies, locally based Chinese officials and their proxies to monitor diaspora communities and transnational repression. Additionally, it also says that China engages in Canadian electoral interference by financially supporting preferred candidates. Chinese support was reportedly party agnostic, but 2021 elections saw support by some Chinese officials for a minority Liberal government because they viewed minority governments as being more limited in terms of being able to enact anti-China policies. The report also says that Chinese involvement in Canada's 2019 and 2021 elections exceeded those of other states. But despite reports highlighting China as a bigger threat, Trudeau has tried to position India on par with China in terms of foreign interference. Bureau Report, India Today.
If Justin Trudeau thought his diplomatic onslaught on India would boost his sliding popularity in his country, he couldn't be more wrong, because since triggering a full diplomatic war with India, the Canadian PM is being mocked, derided and ridiculed by the Canadian media, think tankers and YouTubers. Trudeau and his former ally, Khalistani sympathizer Jagmeet Singh, are being blamed for worsening ties with India. Take a look.
I think it is obvious that the government of India made a fundamental error in thinking that they could engage in supporting criminal activity against Canadians here on Canadian soil, whether it be murders or extortion or other violent acts. It is absolutely unacceptable.
Justin Trudeau's tirade against India didn't just get a fierce counter from New Delhi, but even Canadian media and think tanks have been criticizing him for making allegations without providing credible evidence and for spreading misinformation regarding the Khalistani threat. In an article published in the Canadian newspaper The National Post, senior journalist and author John Ivison noted that Canada has allowed Sikh extremism to flourish within its borders. He further alleged that Prime Minister Trudeau has allowed diaspora politics to unduly influence foreign policy and criticized the Royal Canadian Mounted Police for making serious statements against India without providing any proof. The same view was echoed by Daniel Bodman, a senior correspondent for the National Telegraph, who noted that this could end up costing Canada billions in trade and that Trudeau's move was to appease Jagmeet Singh and the gang of Khalistani ministers.
So no one believes Justin Trudeau is telling the truth here in Canada. He doesn't have any domestic support. It's just, he is just spitting in the eye of a powerful ally. Is it domestic vote bank politics at this point? Maybe. I mean, is he so desperate to keep the record of #1 Khalistani over Jagmeet Singh? Who knows?
Trudeau is also being accused of worsening the diplomatic situation by failing to address the concerns raised by New Delhi. Trudeau's former ally and Khalistani sympathizer, Canadian MP Jagmeet Singh, is also in the line of fire. He's being mocked for demanding sanctions against Indian diplomats. Yes, you heard that right. Against Indian diplomats, not India.
We got the RCMP that said that Indian diplomats were hiring criminal elements to shoot at Canadians. I can't see why we would do anything other than put in place severe sanctions on those diplomats, on Indian diplomats.
You're not saying that, you're leaving open that assumption.
This is the last question, if you want.
We're gonna let her.
No.
He's gone.
He's gone. Also, that's still not how it works.
Yeah. Trudeau's desperate ploy to deflect attention from his flagging popularity and domestic politics is finding few takers even within Canada. Bureau Report, India Today.